In this video, I will show you how to fill out a W-4 form when you have 3 jobs. And it can be you personally as an individual have 3 jobs, or you and your spouse have 3 jobs between the two of you. Like one spouse has 2 jobs, the other spouse has 1 job. That counts as 3 jobs total. So when you fill out a W-4 for the 3rd job, you really should update the W-4s at your other 2 jobs. All of them should be updated at the same time. And you can ask your employer anytime throughout the year to update your W-4. And for the 2 lower paying jobs, it's really simple. So for the 2 lower paying jobs, you're going to do step 1, where you fill out your personal info, social, your filing status. You scroll down to step 5, you sign and date, and you're done. That's it. You don't have to bother with anything here in the middle. No other math to be done. It's as simple as step 1 and step 5 on your 2 lower paying jobs. Now, for the highest paying job of the 3, that's where you need to put in a little bit more time, and I'll show you how to fill it out in this tutorial. Again, this is for the highest paying job of the 3. You're going to start same as the other 2 with step 1, your personal info, social, filing status. Step 2, it gives us a few options when we have multiple jobs. It tells us about this estimator calculator tool, this app on the IRS website, but don't use it now because as of late October, this calculator is a bit dated. It has inaccurate info because there were tax changes that passed in the One Big Beautiful Bill, and this app hasn't been updated to reflect those tax changes and therefore is inaccurate. So, I mean, you could use it, but it's not going to be very accurate. So I recommend skipping that. And it says here in 2B, there's a multiple jobs worksheet, which in fact we will use. And that's what this tutorial is all about, how to do the multiple jobs worksheet with 3 jobs. And then finally, there's this option 2C if there are 2 jobs total. And I go through this in another video, but we're not talking about 2 jobs. We're talking about 3 jobs. So this is our only option, the multiple jobs worksheet. So again, we're only doing this on the highest paying jobs W-4. We do step 3 on that one W-4 if we have dependents like children under 17 or other dependents. And then of course I have as an example, maybe 1. So I put 1 child here under 17, 1 times 2,000, and it tells you to put in that number here, and I put it down here. Again, we're only putting in what we're claiming for dependents on the highest paying W-4. We leave the other W-4s blank, even if we have dependents, we're only doing it on 1. Then we come down to step 4, other adjustments, which we do need to fill out, but we have to use the worksheet. So let's scroll down to the worksheet, and I'll show you how to do it for the highest paying job when you have 3 jobs. Now, it says right down here, 2 jobs. Okay, no, that's not us. 3 jobs. And there's a little bit of math involved, but don't fear, it's quite simple. So for 2A, it asks us to find a number using the highest paying job we have and the second highest paying job we have. Now, I have, just for the sake of an example, I have 3 jobs and 3 income amounts. Now, it doesn't matter if, let's say you're married and your spouse has one of these jobs. It doesn't matter who has what job. All that matters is that you have 3 jobs and 3 income amounts. And, all of this is an estimate. So if your 3rd job is a side hustle or something where it's part-time and you don't make a lot, maybe $5,000 or something, that's fine. Just get a calculator out and estimate. Just ballpark as best as you can. The more you estimate, or the better the estimate, the more accurate, of course. But you want to get an idea of some baseline numbers of what you're making annually, all right? So we start with 2A, real simple. We're going to go down here to this grid, okay? We have the higher paying job on the left, lower paying job up top. So we start with the higher paying job. So in this case, this example, job 1 is the highest paying at $60K. So we have $60K here. We find that right here on the left. Then it asks the next highest paying job, $40K. We put that as the lower paying job here. Again, this is just following the instructions. So bear with me here. We go $60K, we start here, then we go across until we reach the column with our second highest paying, not the lowest, our second highest paying job. And that's how we get to this figure here, $39.70. Then we go up and we plug it in 2A. All right, we're done. We're halfway done with using that grid below. But then it asks us to do something a little bit different. And that's how we get 2B. It says that we combine the income of our two highest paying jobs. Okay, we combine the income from the two highest paying jobs, and then we use the lowest paying job as our lowest income, and we go back to this matrix below. So we go back down here. Now, when we combine jobs 1 and 2, it makes 100K. So now we need to find 100K here. And there it is. Then we need to go across this row until we reach the column with our lowest paying job. And our lowest paying job is 20K. So we go down here to 20K. That's how we get to 6270. Now, if you make in your third job under 10,000, basically, then in this example, I would have just stopped right here in this column, 0 through 10,000. And that's our lowest paying. If we have just, let's say, a low paying part-time gig on the side. I shouldn't say gig because a gig can be gig economy, but you get the idea, just a part-time job or side hustle or something. But again, for the sake of an example, job 3 is 20K. So we're going to 100K to 20K. We get 6270 because we match here at these crossroads. We go up and we plug that in here. All right. That's really the hardest part. We're done with all that. Now it tells us to add up these two numbers, 2A and 2B. We add them up and we put that here in 2C. So I add these two numbers up. I put it here in 2C. And then for line 3, it asks us to put in our pay periods for the highest paying job. Real simple. If you're paid every other week, you put in 26. If you're paid every week, you put in 52. And if you're paid once a month, you put in 12. All right. I'm pretending that I'm getting paid bi-weekly. So every other week I get a paycheck at my highest paying job, so I put in 26. All right. Then it tells us to divide this number in 2C by this number here on line 3. And that's how I get 394. We take that 394, that number, after we divide this number here, 2C, by what we have in 3. We take 394 and we plug it in back up here on 4C. And that's it. We are done with doing the 3 jobs tutorial. I mean, we've done all the math here. And then we sign, we date, and we are done. And that's how it works when you have 3 jobs and you're doing a W-4. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.